fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. We're here to talk about the wonderful and amazing FileMaker platform. I'm here with the equally wonderful Nick Hunter, who many of you are familiar with by this point. We are doing a one-off today, which is might be conditional formatting in FileMaker. Always an interesting discussion. If you'd like to support the channel, we greatly appreciate it. We have the FM training. Basically, I just saw a comment. The live streams are not hyper precise entities. It's not what they're here for. They are meant to discuss a wide variety of topics, but due to the fact that they are conversational in nature, as well as basically conversations but between lectures, talking back and forth the community, that means that meandering is sometimes inevitable, especially since we take questions. If you are looking for hyper precise answers to your topics, feel free to buy the video bundles. We don't go off topic. We cover very specific things in a very short period of time, anywhere from 4 to 30 minutes. Depends on what's being done. And that's what they're there for, and it helps keeps this running because while the style doesn't suit everyone, we do cover a lot of really interesting things that otherwise would not be talked about on the channel for FileMaker. So had a lot of really cool people come out recently. All right, with that all being said, Nick, what are we doing today?
Sorry. What we do today? We do the conditional formatting.
Yes.
So this is an interesting topic because I'm not sure if we already did. I think we did, but long time ago. And so it's not very complex to understand, but there's ways to to avoid problems with conditional formatting. At the same time, I'm going to extend a little bit to our hidden objects because quite the same logic here. Even though we did under hidden object dedicated. So during the hidden object, I did some conditional, and then during conditional, I will do some hidden object, and also I will do some trigger calculation and some tag system because the tag is involved with the conditional. Okay, so I'm going to show you some specific situation, but simple. Okay, so this is simple. It's not like yesterday. So, what is a conditional formatting? So let's start from the beginning for who is not familiar with this, right? So let's say I'm going to put a field here. I'm going to put the status, right? So here I have status active, right? And here I'm going to put a conditional, and the conditional says the value is equal to active, and I want the text color to be white and the background color to be green. If it's inactive, add it. No. Oh, I changed that to inactive. So let's active, and this is value is between equal to inactive, and I want this red. Right. So what this is, if inside the fields I have the word active, the background becomes green and the text becomes white. If I put inactive, the background becomes red and the text is white. If I put other, nothing happens because it's not part of my, to condition. That's why we said conditional formatting. Of course, we have many different ways to activate this. Between, not between, equal, not equal, greater than, less than, all of this, empty today, after today. Okay, we have some predefined, some predefined stuff here, right? So it can be less than 10, less than 11, You can say whatever you want. Those as predefined things that you can use, right? Or you can have your own. You can have your own calc, and you can put whatever you want here, right? But what you need to know in the conditional is that conditional formatting works only on any object in your layout that contain text. Otherwise, it will never work. So, for example, on the round rectangle, I don't have conditional, right? On the field, I have conditional. On the text, I have conditional. So I can say here, the formula is empty status. I want the color to be red, the text, right? So if this is empty, this is red. If it's not empty, it's not red, and this become green because that was my condition. So you cannot put conditional formatting on polls. You don't have conditional polls. You have on buttons. Why? Because buttons are contain text. This doesn't contain text. This doesn't. A field, yes. Fields contain text, right? What else? A button bar, we can put conditional, right? Tab control, we can put conditional on each tab, right? And text, of course, merge fields, layout calculation, we can, right? So, so we can say on the layout calculation, status, right, equal active, right? So that will return 1. And you can say conditional add value is equal to 1. You can put the field color under like this, right? It works on our layout calculation. So pretty much button bar, just pause, slide control as well. You can, I think, not sure. Yes, you can put for each tab, you can put your own, right? So actually, right? So on each tab, you can put your own color. See?
That's actually pretty nifty.
Yes. So for example, this is how I'm doing things like this. I said, because you cannot put a background color for each panel.
Oh,
No, you can do, if you do this, sorry, if you do this and you put this red, it's red for all panels. If you want to have a different color for by panel, you say you put 1 here. 1 means always. It will always put it. 1
got
is
it.
always. And you say field color, you want red for this one, and this one you want blue, right? So now you have red, orange, blue. This is how you do. If you want to have each panel a color, right? This is
Good
a
to
trick,
know.
the trick for free, right? Same for this, same for the tab, you know. Of course, it can be a calculation. Say, for example, let's say here I'm putting the status inside this, right? I don't want this. Oh, I can show you something here, maybe. How to transfer a conditional formatting to one. Okay. But yeah, I can do that. Let's say, let's say I, I want to transfer conditional formatting that I have here into this panel, these objects, right? I want to transfer these two. I don't want to redo them. I want to transfer them. I want to send them, I want to, yeah, transfer them to the other, right? So if I do this object has been created before this. I create this before this. So if I do this, it won't work. It will try to transfer this conditional to this object because this object has been created after this one. If I duplicate this, so now this object has been created after this. So if I select both and then I said conditional formatting, now those two are transferred. So now this object has the same conditional formatting as this one. If I do the opposite, if I select this that has been created before this and I do this, well, I'm transferring the one that was there to this. If you want to do the opposite, you need to duplicate the object where you have the conditional, then it will become the most recent object created, and then you can transfer. Correct? So now I can transfer this to this, and I can modify this because I want the formula to be status equal active. What happened here? Oh, status, yeah. Oh, yeah. Status equal active or status equal inactive. So now this is, if I put this object here and I don't want the conditional formatting in this because I want on the background. And here I said no background and I want white. So here it said active, inactive. I have the background of the conditional changing. That cool, right? So those tricks are very cool to know. Also, something you need to know is that I can put conditional formatting to many objects at the same time. For example, here, so let's say I don't have conditional here. So I want those free. If I do this and I create a conditional formatting to those, right? If I create it, right? So fill, so this is active green, text color white, right? And I add another one. Oh, I forgot change this. No. Oops, sorry. Field color, red and white. So now the three of them received the conditional formatting. Okay? The three of them. So you can select 3 objects, 10 objects, 15 objects. And if you say this conditional formatting will be added to the selected objects. But now you need to be, so now we go to the next level. Okay. So do we have any questions so far on this?
Someone said not on numeric ?
Yeah, also alphanumeric, also yeah, text can be numbers, anything you can type something in. If you don't have any text, you don't have any conditional formatting possibilities. So when I say text is, alphanumerical, can be numbers, text, you know what I mean.
Yes.
Other questions?
Not that I see, so you're good.
So of course, we have something here for the buttons here. Here, if I put a condition formatting for the button, so let me transfer this one to the button. Oh yeah, this one. Both transferred. So now I have this conditional formatting to the button. Of course, here we have icon, right? You have icon. So we can also add to the icon. That means this. If I change this to other, boom, the color of the icon change as well as this, right? So we have on the button, on buttons, and also on this type of icons. Icons within an object, right? Like this. White, black, white. If I don't do this, I get this. White, black.
Oh, I had no idea you could do that.
Yeah, I know that way. Well, that's why I'm telling you. So that's cool. Well, but now that the problem, let's get to, okay, that was the fun part. Let's get to the less funny part.
I do have a quick question about the fun
Yeah,
part
go
before
ahead.
we move on. Someone
Yeah,
asked, can you assign the conditional format to a style?
no. So that was the fun part. Now let's talk about the bad thing. Each time you have a conditional formatting, each time, okay, it is like having an unstored calculation for each one. That's why it's not because these, and these are exactly the same that FileMaker will do it once for all the objects. No, it will do it 3 times. And if you have many conditional formatting calculation, it's like having many unstored calculation in your layout. So that means that imagine that depending on the calculation you have, each time you load a record, you have to recalculate all the formatting. right? So depending how crazy you go, you can get your layout extremely slow and get the spinning wheel for a while. And depending on how bad it is extremely complicated to reverse course. And it is extremely difficult to find out which conditional formatting is bad, which was the one that was, getting you here. Because FileMaker, unfortunately, has some tolerance. And you arrive a moment where, well, when you can't do more, right? So depending on how fast your internet is, depending on many things. So you can leave and then what you do, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to fix this. So the best is not doing this. It's not doing this as is. This is bad. This is extremely bad. Why? Because you say 3 times, this equal active. It's a calc. This is a simple calc. But if you have something crazy, something more complex, yeah, so I'm going to take this example, simple, whatever it is, if it is simple or not simple, I'm going to show you how you should do that, right? Instead of doing crazy things. For this thing here, I will say it doesn't matter. Even though I'm not doing statuses as is. And I will do a webinar. I will send you a description about how to handle statuses. Okay? Because I have to handle statuses, crazy statuses, crazy. So when you have crazy statuses, you have techniques you need to use, but not this. You cannot use this technique for crazy statuses. Okay. So let me show you with another example where I go to accounts. Oh, not this one. This one. Okay. So let's say I want the billing title on each tab of this accordion style. This is an accordion. So I have 4 objects, that say billing here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have 3 objects, right? I have 1 object here. I want the conditional on this. I want the conditional on this. And I want the conditional on this. And I want the conditional on this. 4 times. I want the conditional to say if the billing state of this account is California, I want that to be green. I want the text here to be green. If the billing address is California, I want it. I want this conditional because it will help me, right? It will help me to be, to tell me visually, this billing is in California, green, right? That means, yes, good to go. Okay. I want it. This is what I want. I decided it's my show. I do what I want. So how you do this? You go there and you say this, you know, um, billing state province equal CA. That's what you do 4 times. No, this is not what I want. I don't want my conditionals to have any impact in performance, whatever I do. The technique I'm going to show you is the right technique to do. I'm going here and I'm going to say a tag, billing state CA. This is my tag. It's a number. Why? Because the tag is 0 and 1. It cannot be other thing. 0 is no, 1 is yes. 0 is true, false, 1 is true. Right? Yes, no. Okay, so this will be where I put my calc. I have a tag and I said state equals CA. Yes, no. That's what will tell me. If it's not CA, we'll say 0. If it's CA, we'll say 1. I don't need to say if state blah blah equals CA, then 1, otherwise 0. I don't need to do that. This suffices. This is okay. FileMaker will understand. Okay. So, of course, I make sure that this is unchecked, because if I change the billing state from CA to Texas, I want the thing to be recalculated, right? Now that I have this, right, I put my tag here to see what happened. So if I go to billing and I put CA, say 1. If I put TX, it says 0. It's not Texas. It's not California. This is California. It say 1. I'm good. Okay. So what do I do now? Well, I'm going to that object and I say tag billing state CA. And I don't need to do more. Every conditional calculation must be Boolean, 1 or 0. You know? So you say the tag said billing state equals state, CA. Yes, no. So I have already someone that will tell me yes, no once. So now I said, okay, if this say yes or this say no, okay, that's all what I need to know. So I copy this and I say, right, I want the text color to be green and the icon to be white. Remember, I have an icon here. It's a button. So now I have this. And now I have hidden objects. I have all the objects here, right? And here and here, right? So this one is done, correct? So I don't want to bother to do it again. I duplicate this and I go to my first object and I transfer them. Transfer. I'm going to this object, select, transfer, select, transfer. Why? Because I duplicated this one. So it became the one I just made. I duplicated, so it became the newest object ever created, the latest. So I transfer everything over there. And now all my 4 calculation, my 4 conditional doesn't have any impact whatsoever because it points to one field that is already there saying 0, 1. So that means in terms of performance, this is glitch, nothing, nada, nada. Okay. And boom, billing is green and it's based on the field, right? So if the field was a crazy calculation that I'm going to do one. If the field was the craziest calculation ever you can have in your life, I don't give a damn. The conditional won't have any impact whatsoever. I can have it 2 billion times in my layout. It will be like peanuts, right? Questions?
Yes. Can you lose global variables as tags?
Yes, but you might have some surprise. You need a refresh the objects. It, de- it depends. Let's do a test, right? Let's do a test. So let's change this in, you know, with a button set variable. Okay. So set active using a set variable. Oops. Global, right? So active. Oops. I'll get there. So this is set active, inactive. Okay. So now I'm going to change those, those conditional. And I change conditional here. And I do with the same technique, right? So I said, um, actually, our status, I made a mistake, equal active and, or no, or yeah, let's say this, the status equal active, So I don't need this one. Yeah, I need this one, but the variable is not active, it's status. So let me change this. So I changed this conditional, right? So now I want to transfer this to all of them, right? Duplicate this object, going there, select those two, transfer. Oh, why didn't change this? Conditional status. Yeah. So this and this. That's weird. I duplicate the objects. This one, right? Duplicate this. That's super weird. Anyway, uh, oh, because I don't have significant changes. I don't know. Yeah, okay. You want to make me look bad. I understand. I will meet FileMaker outside to have some explanation. Sometime I'm doing this. Okay, so I think we're good. So I'm here and I'm setting this active. So I have the status active. So it's not green. Why? Because I need to refresh. Now it's green. So you need to have a refresh object if you do. If you change a field, it's not the same. So you need to have a refresh object, right? So, so you need to say refresh. In that case, right? Um, you don't refresh the window, you refresh the objects, right? So let's say I'm going to change this as a script, right? So I'm going to make a script because now I have two steps: set the variable and refresh the object. So I have multiple objects that I want to refresh. So you won't say refresh this object, this object, this object, this. Oh no, you don't do that. Neither you want to say refresh window. This is bad technique. You don't want to refresh window. Depending on the screen, the screen you have, you do that. It could be long to refresh window. So you don't want that. Instead, in that case, I have a containing object, right? But let's say I will do another test. So you have here we have a containing object. That means the four objects I want to be refreshed are in the same slide control, right? They are in the same slide control. A slide control, if I go to my tree, has different panels. They are in all the panels. So I'm screwed because they are all in all the panels. So I need to refresh all the panels because I cannot rename. I cannot give a name to a slide. I can give names to panels, but I cannot give a name to the objects. So here, yes, you need to refresh. Unfortunately, you need to refresh the four accordions, right? This is a pain, right? If you have another configuration, so something I want to show you. Let's say you have four objects like this, right? And you want those four to be refreshed on one shot. You group them. Why are they not part of? Oh, yeah. Okay. You group them and you name the group. You name this group of four objects, right? Then I'm going to change this into a script. Set active, right? And then I say refresh objects, this, right? So I refresh the object group to refresh the group, right? So if I set this, now those four are not active because they're not green, because the status is inactive. If I click here, the button will say set the status active. So now my status is active. And then I refresh one object with a 4 because it's a group. So you refresh the group, right? This is good to know too. That can help. Sometimes you don't have help, but you know, uh, conditional to using variable on conditional formatting. Yeah, I don't quite use this because of this problem, because you need to refresh. In that case, it's better to do this. If you want to be a global thing, right? Well, You know what I'm going to do? I have a status global field instead, not a global variable. I'm using a global field, and then a global field pointing to, you know, pointing to the conditional, and then you don't have the refresh issue anymore, right? So that's good to know as well. That to use a global field instead of global variable in that case. Do we have any another question?
Uh, tags must be numeric to run faster? Question mark.
No, they need to be numeric because it's a number first, and it's nice to be clear and clean, and it works. You avoid issues if you involve this in a relationship, because you can have issues, right, between text and numbers relationship, correct? So I tend to be, you know, clean with this. The the Boolean always be a numerical. All the thing. Why? It's a good question, so I like it. Let's say this is not a number, right? It's text. Well, here, this is grayed out, right? I have no access. Now, it's a Boolean. Tag is Boolean. So I put that number like it should be. And like by magic, here I have my Boolean options in the data formatting for numbers that I cannot have access if it's text. And here I said, uh, yes, no, or I can say it is, it's not, or it's maybe too long. I can put whatever, uh, whatever, I can yes or wrong or good. You can say whatever you want here, right? So you have these options that say good, right? Or wrong, right? So you have this option for the Boolean on the Boolean section here that you cannot have if it's not a number. That's why, because sometimes I'm using this. Sometimes it's cool, yes, no, for free. I get that for free. I don't need a calc that convert my 0 and 1 into yes, no. You understand? Could be nice, right? Other questions?
Yes. Uh, there was kind of an ongoing conversation basically about related to like the earlier question that we asked for follow-up on. Can you make an active/inactive conditional object? Like, you say you name it actCon, and then on the layout object, I want to apply the conditional actCon to the object. So it sounds like they want to like save like a standardized set of conditional formatting and then apply it without having to reset it every time.
I still go. You got it?
I don't think that's possible in FileMaker, or if you but basically it sounds like that he wants, every time you open the conditional formatting, you have to type in the calculation for it. He wants to pre-save a calculation and then apply it without
Oh,
having to
like
run
I
it every
do.
time.
Okay, yeah, I just did it. Okay, like
Yeah.
for example, yeah, I mean, let's say I have this object. Okay, I have this object and I call it, I don't know, or I remove everything. This is my predefined object. This is for statuses, for example. Okay, so I have this uh, specify It was like our billing, you know, uh, state province equal CA. Okay, so I have this. It's predefined, right? Well, I can, like I just did, like I just did, you know, uh, apply this. So I select the two objects, making sure that this one is always the latest I created or pasted in the layout, and I transfer, right? Transfer. So now this one is this. So I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to show you how to use it. So I can go there and say, okay, this one, boom, transfer. Now this one has the same as the object outside. I can go there and say this one, conditional transfer, right? So I can have this one, conditional transfer. Now I copy that object and I'm going to the contact layout and I paste this here, right? And I change quite because I'm not in the T01 account. I am in the T05 contact. So I can say address, primary address, uh, states. Do I have states? I don't have any in contact. I don't have any address here. Yeah. Oh, uh, primary states. Oh, primary
Oh,
states. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Okay. So I'm going here, primary state province one. So now I have my calc here. I change once, right, on this object, and I say, I want the address to become green. Boom, I transfer. I didn't have any object, any conditional in this object whatsoever. But because I just pasted and I changed the calc in this, I go there, transfer, boom. Now I have a calculation here. I go there, I select this one and this one, boom, transferred, right? And now I continue, I go there, I select address and this one, and I say transfer, and the last one, this one, and I say transfer. So I didn't do anything. So if the conditional were complicated with a lot of colors and stuff like this, a lot of changes, I could have just transfer at once like this, and now it's green, 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 green. So I answer your questions. Yes, you can have predefined object, and then you can just have to remap them, in some ways, but you have the colors or the formats that you want in one unique object or multiple objects, or you can have a bank of objects. Not a good idea, by the way. You have a bank of objects, a bank of stuff like this, and you can recycle them.
There you go.
And
Uh,
if you, and yeah, go ahead.
you can use evaluate to calculate conditional formatting, question mark.
Yes, conditional formatting is calculation. So you can put anything that fits a calculation can work in the conditional.
Hmm. Someone said, I don't understand how you're transferring the formatting.
Okay. Let's say, so I'm I'm in an object. I am in a layout. So let's go to invoices.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have shipping or I have address. I want this text here and this button to be green if the state I'm billing this invoice is CA, California. But I don't have it. And I need to do it 4 times. And I don't want to do that 4 times. I want to do it 1 time. So I want to be able to transfer one. I have a conditional and I want to transfer to me object. How you do that? Well, let's say you have an object. You already have it. You have one formatted, green, white, just what you need to do. I want to, make sure. So billing state, billings to state. I want the billing to state. When the billing to state equals CA, I want that to be green. But this, I just pasted this object in the layout. So it's the latest object created in the history of that layout. It's the latest, the newest. I just created it. I just pasted it. So this object is newer than this one, correct? Because this one I created like 2 years ago. So this old, this is new, I just created. So if I select this object where I have the conditional and this object where I don't have the conditional, because this one is the newest, I select both, I go format conditional, or I right click on one of both, right? And I said conditional formatting. Both of them will receive the same conditional of the latest object I selected in this. This is the latest. So if I select this, if I select this, and this, if I do this, all of those objects will receive that conditional
Okay, that's
of the latest object ever created, because it's the one part of the selection. Since the one part of the selection, if you select multiple objects like this and you apply and you said conditional, the latest conditional will come and will be applied to all the selection at once. So that's why it's cool. It's a cool technique.
Yes.
Because it's a pain sometimes to do a conditional formatting. You have many things, you need to select the color, select for the color for the text, select the color for the, it's a pain. Let's be honest. This dialogue didn't get rebuilt since, I don't know, since I'm born.
That's like, when was conditional formatting introduced?
Yeah, it's since forever the same. So you need to select the color, and you need to select the color, and you need to select the color, and you need to select this, and sometimes you need to go there and say, I want this one, I want this one. Sometimes it's complicated. So it's cool to do it once, and then this technique is cool because sometimes you can recycle one object conditional formatting you already have done, and it's quite similar, but you have some changes, or you need a color, you have a condition less, or you need to add another condition. It's easier, right? But that's why we need a second topic on this.
Oh, okay, this is an interesting fact. Someone on Twitch is saying, let Nick know that you can change the order of the objects on the layout, and the topmost in the Z order controls the conditional formatting.
No, I'm not sure on this. I'm really not sure on this. Let's try. So let's say I have this one, right? So this one has been created way before. Okay.
Yes.
So in the Z order, this one is there, right?
Uh-huh.
And this one is on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one problem will be this is part of a slide control. So if I change the Z order on this, I can put it on top of this panel,
Mm-hmm.
right? But not on top of the layout. First problem. So let's assume this object is not in the panel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now this is in the Z order. This is on top, bring to front. So let's say, yes, is right. So I can do that. But you saw that if this object was in, if this object was in the, in this or accordion, I'm not sure this will work. No,
Yeah.
so, well, but if I move this and I put on top of this, so if I do this, let's see if that's correct. So the transfer is the one. If I do this, is this? Yeah, it's right. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I I have so I'm so take the habit of duplicating the object and make sure to
That could also be like a new behavior because that's a new thing. Well, the listing
I
of
don't
new
know. I'm
things.
not
Kind of.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
The prime I have with this technique is maybe okay. I have a lot of object in slide. This is in slide. This is in slide. I typically have very few object outside of slides in my layouts. So I
Mm-hmm.
might encounter that problems. That mean, yeah. So if this one is in one slide like it is, like this one, you
Mm-hmm.
know, uh, I can put that in one slide and the other one in another slide. I can have problem. I I typically put duplicate the object, put outside like this, and then I'm sure this one the latest, right? And I can do whatever I want. It's the habit. But I was sure that it wouldn't work if the object is inside a portal or inside a slide or inside a tab. It wouldn't work, right? But in the normal Z order, yeah, it worked. So after the 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 webinar about the found mode, can you program a day two on this one, on the one of today?
Yes. So
Right?
cool.
Because well, it's 5:05. I mean, it's um because I have other things to stay to speak about this, um, especially when it comes to have a little bit more complex interaction
Yes.
when something happened on another table and you want the formatting to be changed in a previous another table, right? So you have two
Yes.
tables, but let's say you have something in invoices and you want in account to
Oh, right, because you'd
the
like a portal or something that shows the stuff.
yeah, so you want
Yeah.
you want something to be updated. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you many things. So on
Yeah.
server, and I'm going to show you some uh, crazy stuff that you can, or scrap your condition very quickly. Uh, your performance, right? So
There we go. Okay. Thank you very much, Nick. I'll let you go. Thank you everyone for coming. And you all have a lovely day.
thank you and happy Thanksgiving, everybody.